away we go. Happy Easter from the staff here at WODDITY, and by the staff here, I mean me and the dog, who you will probably hear either drooling or scratching himself in the background at some point during this broadcast. We are recording this live, so don't just excuse any errors, plan to just laugh along with me on them. My name is Ben Garvis, and you are watching the live premiere stream of our new talk show, Elite Sports Insider. It's like SportsCenter, but really not. And it has a huge budget, but only hypothetically. And it's really about CrossFit, but only just mostly. Every week I will be here with a live stream, typically anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, talking about the biggest and most exciting community, sport, and athlete news surrounding CrossFit as an organization, the affiliates and members that make up our community, the CrossFit Games, qualifying sanctional events, and really anything else that I damn well please. This week, we'll be starting off with a summary of everything we know about the 10th release of the Reebok Nano, the Nano X. We'll catch up on some of the top stories from Morning Chalk Up over the past week, how CrossFit and the community is rallying to keep gyms in business while they're closed, check in on some social media, and then finish out with some couch potato opinions. Armchair opinions? I don't know, man. We'll figure out what to call this little segment. This Sunday, the 12th of April, this is Sunday, the 12th of April, and you're watching WODDITY's Elite Sports Insider. Welcome to the show. All right, because it's April, this means we're probably only a month away from the next generation of the Reebok Nano. Views and visits to our site and content on the Reebok Nano 10, or Reebok Nano X as some call it, have skyrocketed as the community starts to anticipate release of this new shoe. The Reebok Nano 9 was released on June 12th last year, which broke from the trend of annual January releases of this shoe. It is the 12th of April today, and that puts us exactly 2 months out from the estimated release date for this 10th edition. To catch you up on this new shoe, here's a video of me putting on an old pair of Reebok Nano 9s and talking through everything we know so far. Over to you, Ben. The story of the Reebok Nano X dates back to the very first tease in August 2019. Tal Short shared this picture on Instagram of what he captioned, quote, "The first test of the Nano blank. Big things are coming for the Nano franchise. We are not going anywhere. We changed the game once and we will do it again," end quote. For those of you who don't know, Short is the senior product manager at Reebok who oversees the Reebok Nano line. What did I just put in my shoe? The shoe reappeared in the news mid-December when a French Reebok page selling shorts featured a model wearing what appeared to be a new Reebok Nano. Zooming in on the images confirmed the shoe had a Reebok Nano X moniker. The next big leak came from what we believe to be a Vietnamese Reebok page for the Nano X, which went as far as sharing 8 images of the new shoe, but listed the shoe as out of stock. Might have been a test page, we don't know. Since then, the shoe has popped up a few times in Instagram posts from people like Rich Froning and again, Tal Short. Reebok appears to be gearing up for the release of the shoe sometime in the near future. Various versions have appeared on sales pages throughout, you guessed it, the internet. Ultrix posted a white colorway for women for €130. Reebok's Amazon page has an imageless kids Nano listed without a price. And Roadrunner Sports has a page live for a men's Nano at $130. What is the release date of the Reebok Nano X? The steady release of leaks and teasers tells us it's probably not far away and will likely match the timeline of last year's June 12th release. We're just as curious as you. In the meantime, lace up your 9s and get back to work. Ben, back to you in the studio. The dog and I are going for a walk. You can find links to everything I just talked through in the show notes for this episode. They are down down there. There's no better time for the CrossFit community to shine than right now when the world is working to cope with this pandemic. Athletes, members, sanctionals, brands, and CrossFit itself have been finding ways to protect gyms that have closed for social distancing purposes. Let's talk quickly about some of the major things the community is running right now. O2 has been joined by Puri, which I will never know if I'm pronouncing correctly, working against gravity and Born Primitive as a community coalition promising special deals which will share some of their profits during the outbreak to gyms in need. Born Primitive alone has raised more than $180,000 for their cause. Details on that can be found online at communitycoalition.fitness. At the same time, Loud and Live Sports, the team overseeing sanctionals like WODDITY, the West Coast Classic, and the Granite Games, have organized a tremendous number of athletes, brands, and celebrities in a marathon of workouts. They can be found at unitedinmovement.org. At the time of writing this script, they had raised over $203,000 with over 13,400 community members participating. The money is being given to Action Against Hunger, the CrossFit Foundation, and the Red Cross. And wrapping up this list, CrossFit launched their Support Your Local Box fundraising event on April 3rd. They are going 3 weeks, releasing one workout per week on a global leaderboard. Participation is free, but when registering, you actually have an option to donate anywhere from $20 to $1,000. You can also specify which CrossFit affiliate you'd like the money to go to if you want to help your local box. That can be found on the CrossFit Open website, which is open.crossfit.com. Now, let's talk about some quick community news surrounding COVID-19. Yes, I roll COVID-19, we're talking about it again. Brittany Klein at Morning Chalk Up wrote a great story on customers that are waiting weeks or even months for home gym equipment deliveries. Some estimates put demand for at-home gear at up 3,000% month over month from last month, with people turning to personal equipment to fill the void caused by gym closures and safe social distancing practices. Klein checked in with Rogue, Concept 2, and Assault Fitness on the statuses of their orders. Concept 2 and Assault Fitness have started waitlists, while Rogue has set up a special page with updates about their COVID-19 operations. Fulfillment, e-commerce, and manufacturing are still active for the company, which has also manufactured 60 respirators, 40,000 face shields, and 200,000 face masks. For updates on Rogue, you can go to roguefitness.com/COVID-19. That's roguefitness.com/COVID-19. I've put a link to Klein's article from Morning Chalk Up in those show notes down there. If you're a gym owner looking for guidance on the best practices for paying your coaches through the pandemic, Emily Beers at Morning Chalk Up delved into the subject. Beers spoke with a number of gym owners around the globe on how they're going about it, so I've put a link to that down below also. The federal government has built a stimulus package designed to help small businesses keep up with their payroll while they're suffering a decline or total shutdown of revenue. The stimulus bill, called the CARES Act, included what is called the Small Business Paycheck Protection Program. I can do this. Small Business Paycheck Protection, Small Business Paycheck Protection Program. This is what happens when we do things live. It authorized up to $349 billion in loans for up to 8 weeks of payroll for employee benefit costs. The loans are even forgivable if the majority of the spending of that money is on maintaining your employees' salaries. This sounds like great news for gyms. Unfortunately, participating banks were flooded with applications and have been criticized for complex and ambiguous application processes and insane phone hold waiting times. One business that I spoke to had called their bank first thing in the morning and was on hold until the end of the day when the phone lines were closed and the bank asked her to call back the next day. This just reinforces the importance of programs like United in Movement and Support Your Local Box fundraisers, especially with no information about whether applications will be approved and when the loans will be received, if You are even eventually able to submit your application to your bank in the first place. The news juggernaut that is the Orlando Sentinel. News juggernaut? Who wrote this? Okay. Julia Poe at the Orlando Sentinel wrote a great feature piece on Gabriel and Carol Fernandez, the co-owners of Forever Young CrossFit near Universal Studios in Florida. Even as two super fit people in their mid-30s, they very quickly contracted coronavirus in March, along with their 2-year-old son. Thankfully, they're doing okay, but my point here is stay safe out there. Okay, let's go over to Instagram and talk about all of the things the staples of the community have going on this week. Chris Spieler shared that he and members of his family have contracted the virus. He wrote, quote, "Thankfully, we are all recovering well, but it is a slow process. Stay healthy, stay home, stay calm," end quote. I put a link to Spieler's Instagram TV post talking through this experience in my show notes. Now, the West Coast Classic does want to remind you to support local and small businesses. Filthy 150 took us down memory lane with Rory McKernan, which is always good for a laugh. Simon Mantilla went nuts trying to clean before his girlfriend or wife got home. Zach George channeled his inner Drake, which may be the winner of this segment today. Norwegian CrossFit Championships channeled their inner The Weeknd. Allison Scuds hung out on the set of CrossFit's at-home workout videos. You know this famous couch. While filming for the Support Your Local Box campaign, Sarah Sigmundsdottir announced that she's being sponsored by Volkswagen R, which is awesome news, but then she just completely blew that announcement out of the water with a hint that she may have adopted an adorable little puppy. A puppy. To close out this segment, I gotta say that Tia Claire Toomey and Shane Orr may have just won TikTok. And those are the major highlights from social media this week. Let's delve deep into some opinion pieces. Well, okay, one opinion piece. This is a new segment. I don't know who I'm kidding by saying all of these segments are new because they are all new. This is a new segment called Opinions from the Couch. I take you to the couch where we sit down and have a conversation about something going on in the CrossFit realm. Today, let's talk about an article Tommy Marquez wrote for Morning Chalk Up called 3 Big Questions Facing CrossFit Incorporated. I'll meet you over on the couch. Okay, so Tommy Marquez is one heck of a journalist and a former CrossFit HQ employee, and that makes him pretty well informed when it comes to analyzing potential next steps for CrossFit through this outbreak. I'll put a link to his article in my show notes so you can read it and weigh in with your thoughts. I want to zero in on Tommy's words regarding CrossFit finances. Not really to argue with him, but just to talk through it here out loud with you. So, finances. We don't have any formal confirmation that CrossFit has had any cash flow problems. Last year, they laid off their media staff and streamlined the company in a way that we had never seen before or expected. Without the expense of the staff, the expense of the regional events that they've replaced with sanctionals, and the possible or really even eventual influx of cash, likely in the tens of millions, in damages from their lawsuit with the NSCA, the organization likely made the changes they needed long before any inkling of this coronavirus pandemic hit the United States. At least, that's my thought. This still leaves a list of other sources and one tremendous expense we should talk through. CrossFit's major sources of income flow through affiliate fees in the gym, licensing fees for smaller events, licensing fees for sanctionals, CrossFit Open registration fees, and the core CrossFit Level 1, 2, 3, and 4 seminars. I'm sure there are other sources of income like their contracts with Reebok and Rogue, other licensing fees, and even royalties on the years of content they've produced. Then there's this major expense that we know is on the horizon. Greg Glassman has been very clear that he'd like to move forward with the CrossFit Games, but without a title sponsor when their contract with Reebok ends this year. Reebok has been paying $2 to $3 million each year for the CrossFit Games prize purse. It sounds like CrossFit was either prepared to shoulder the burden of that cost, or we'd likely hear details about changes to their prize purse structure in the months leading up to the CrossFit Games. Then again, Glassman could just be posturing for a better negotiation position with brands looking to become a title sponsor for 2021 onward. Marquez is absolutely correct. We don't know the impact that forced closures will have on CrossFit affiliate numbers. The CrossFit Open's participation fell by half last year if you don't factor in the fact that we had 2 CrossFit Opens in 2019. Dave Castro has been very open that CrossFit is preparing tools for moving level 1 seminars online, but we don't know what that does for the quality of those seminars and the coaches they train, the level of registrations they bring in, or if people are still willing to pay that $1,000 price tag when they know that they can't become coaches until social distancing is over. Here's what we do know. CrossFit is leaner, meaner, and greener as a company than it was 2 years ago. The community is still as scrappy and feisty ever. That's us. And we're going to ride through this together no matter what. Now, back to the studio. Thanks, Ben, and welcome back. That's it for the first ever episode of Elite Sports Insider, recorded live and presented by WODDITY. Subscribe to the channel using that button on your lower right. The share button is right there above it if you look down there. So just click and then click. You have that share button if you know somebody who would love this content. I'm here to make it for you, but you're the one that has to spread the word. We'll be back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for another live episode. My name is Ben Garvis, and I will catch you on the WODDITY podcast tomorrow, available wherever you get your podcasts. Stay safe out there, and if we don't chat, then I will catch you next week. Have a good one.